Hello, I'm Jashikins, and welcome to another, not Jash Reads, but another review. And yes, another book review. I do book reviews, movie reviews, show reviews, though right now you can sort of tell I'm sort of in a little book review rut. I will review other mediums, I promise. I've already reviewed Westworld, the second season, so I do review shows too. But anyways, say you're unsure if I'm ever going to review a book, a fan fiction, a TV show, or a movie. And so you don't want to leave it to chance that I'll actually get to the thing you're interested in hearing my opinions on. Well, lucky for you, I do requests. All you have to do is follow a link and ta-da! Now, the link, if you're watching on the YouTubes, is in the description, and if you're watching on my blog, the link is up above, and on the post, it will show you rules you have to follow, like things I don't do, things I do. Because, just because I say I'll review anything, there are limits, but they're so open that 99.9% of what you most likely will ask me to review, I'll be able to do. And before I get this review started in full, I'm going to take my time to give thanks to my so far only Patreon donator, and that is James Bevan. And I want to thank him just because it sort of feels to me really, really awkward because it's like, okay, friends pay me money. Yay, although it is nice that someone looks at what I do and doesn't just go, I'll give this person a like, comment, share their video, I'm actually thinking they should be paid. So thank you very much. And if you not James, of course, he's already paying, but if someone else is watching this and they would like to donate, if you're watching on the YouTubes, link in the description, and if you're watching on my blog, link up above, and in the sidebar thingamajig, you'll find links to my Patreon, and there you can donate. It's a monthly donating service, so whatever you're thinking of donating, just bear that in mind. Anyways, on to the review. And I gotta make sure I'm live. When I saw Revenge of the Sith in theaters, I was a little underwhelmed. Padme Amidala had gone from a strong woman to a romantic crybaby. The scene where Anakin Skywalker took the name Darth Vader was cringeworthy due to how much the Sith Lord was crying. In the novelization of the movie, Matthew Stover managed to smooth out the edges. However, he was still stuck with the overall plot of the movie and so didn't have the chance to correct all the mistakes. And before I continue, I'm just going to say I'm going to be spoiling everything. So if you haven't read the movie, if you haven't seen the movie or read the novelization, pause this video and read the book. And if you're wondering, where can I get the book? If you are watching on the YouTube's, link in the description, and if you're watching on my blog, link down below. And both links will take you to where you can buy your very own copy of the novelization of Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith by Matthew Stover. Part 1. Anakin takes up the title of Darth Vader. Anakin's transformation into Darth Vader was the whole point of the prequel trilogy. We all knew it would happen, which meant that his journey to the dark side had to be worth it. We had to grow and love the character even though the story would not have a happy ending. We had to care about the relationship between Anakin and Obi-Wan. We had to care about it all. But the first two movies weren't that great, even though I enjoyed them. Come on, I sort of fell in love with Liam Neeson in Episode 1, so. And Ian McGregor sort of fought too. Anakin and Obi-Wan never seemed to have an idyllic relationship, as was hinted at in the original trilogy. So when it came time for Anakin to become Darth Vader, our expectations were lowered. But not low enough, it seems. In the movie, Anakin is crying, which makes his turn to the dark side seem like something done out of childish desperation. It seems more like a crying child turning to the first parental figure he sees rather than a turn to evil. The novelization corrects this mistake and makes me wish the book version was in the movie. Yes, Anakin is still sad, but seems justified. He believes that there is no one left he can trust except Sidious. This causes confusion and sadness in a man who hasn't let himself have much sleep due to the nightmares of Padme dying. And I think I didn't write this down in a review because I was sort of unsure, but I think he, in the novelization, it says he hasn't slept. I just didn't want to go back through the pages because they would just be one or two lines littered here and there. I'm sorry. I'm totally professional. Anakin does take time to think things through before kneeling and becoming a Sith Lord. He examines his own mind and decides this is the path he wants to take. When he kneels, he isn't crying and is self-assured of his new future. And he doesn't plan to stay loyal to Sidious in the novelization. Instead, he decides to wait until he knows how to stop death before turning on his new master. I don't remember the movie pushing this specific plot point. Part 2. The opening sequence focused on Dooku's viewpoint. In the movie, the focus is on Anakin and Obi-Wan. I understand that as it keeps up the mystery of what's going on. Though, if you, like me, had known since The Phantom Menace that Palpatine was Sidious. The novelization puts the focus on Dooku. The change of focus means we are able to understand Dooku just a little bit more. We are able to understand how he was manipulated into becoming a sacrifice. Honestly, looking through his eyes as he realizes how he was betrayed was much more satisfying. I got to see the moment Dooku went from assured to afraid to understanding how he had been used. Both Anakin and Dooku are manipulated by Palpatine because he says what they want to hear. He pretends to be on their side. While the Sith Lord was able to draw on Anakin's self-entitlement, he drew on Dooku's justice. Dooku, unlike Anakin, looked at how best to fix the Republic. It was Sidious that he found the way to create what he saw as a perfect universe. Even though that perfect universe was demented, at least he was able to focus on the bigger picture, unlike the chosen one. Part 3. Padme didn't seem as whiny. Due to both Matthew Stover's writing and seeing from Padme's point of view, she was a more likable character in the novelization. Padme had a part to play in the novelization beyond loving Anakin and being a plot device for his character arc. She is brought to see how dangerous Palpatine is for the Republic. She sees that her former friend needs to be removed from the position of power he has attained. This does put her at odds with her husband. As Anakin is enamored by Palpatine, he is unable to see how dangerous his friend actually is. So Padme must hide what she is doing from Anakin, just in case he becomes a political rival. Padme does still retain the weak character traits from the film, but by giving her an actual plot helps strengthen an otherwise weak character. And actually, the whole being involved in politics with the senators trying to remove Palpatine from office, that was actually from deleted scenes from the third movie. Part 4. Anakin could have brought balance according to the book. The Chosen One prophecy is a big deal in the prequel trilogies. It's the reason that Anakin Skywalker was accepted as a Jedi in the first place. In any other scenario, he wouldn't have become a Jedi as he was much too old. But since he was the Chosen One, he was eventually allowed into the Order. Now, the prophecy, as the Jedi saw it, was that there would be an extremely powerful Force user that would bring balance to the Force. In their eyes, this meant that the Sith Order would be destroyed. The only Sith viewpoint we get to see is Darth Sidious, aka Palpatine. He seemed to have no need for the prophecy. He actually wanted to ignore it. So, why get so friendly with Anakin? Sidious would have been able to sense the child's strength and figured he would be a good weapon. There is, of course, the possibility that Sidious was lying to appease Anakin and was really designed to use the prophecy against the Jedi. So, was the prophecy real or just a bunch of nonsense? Jedi Master Mace Windu talks briefly about balance, and that the Jedi might have been looking at the Chosen One prophecy all wrong. He points out that the light has so far overpowered the dark, as the Jedi are much more powerful than the Sith. This hints at the fact that the Chosen One would destroy the Jedi Order to bring balance to the Force. Looking further down the series, Anakin helped take down Sidious, one of the most powerful Sith, and so destroyed the reign of the Sith Order. This book says that interpretation is right. Part 5. The Jedi Council is stupid. There were many stupid things that happened in the movie version of Revenge of the Sith. While Matthew Stover does a great job at smoothing out some of the kinks, he can't correct everything. Sometimes by showing certain scenes, he makes things look more stupid than they already were. Let's take the Jedi Council as an example. They decided to draw out the Sith by sending both Yoda and Obi-Wan Kenobi away from Coruscant. Sending Yoda away, I don't consider stupid, as they're still keeping Mace Windu, a man who is one powerful Jedi. Sending Obi-Wan away, however, is beyond stupid. The Council already knows that Anakin shares a bond of friendship with Obi-Wan. This bond could help keep Anakin stable. Sidious already figured this out in the beginning, where he kept putting Skywalker into situations that would be easily solved by leaving Obi-Wan to die. When the plan was being worked out, Yoda was already well aware that Anakin was going through some emotional trouble. He, who didn't want Anakin to become a Jedi in the first place, shouldn't trust the young Skywalker not to do something stupid that would get the Jedi Order killed. Yet he never brings up the fact that Obi-Wan should stay to watch over Anakin. I think I put my book down at that point and muttered, the Jedi deserve to die with that stupidity. Part 6. Died from a broken heart. I remember I read Matthew Stover's novelization before seeing the actual film. I remember reading Padme dying from a broken heart and posting online that couldn't have possibly have actually happened. I had to be told that Padme did indeed die from a broken heart because my mind couldn't comprehend the stupidity. Well, okay, hang on. If this is a real thing, I'm going to probably screw up the pronunciation. Well, Tachycardiomyopathy, aka heartbreak syndrome, is a real thing, and there is a small possibility that you could die from it. It doesn't remove the stupidity of this plot point. What happens when you get heartbreak syndrome is your body has a heart attack. There was enough high-tech medical equipment around that the probability of Padme dying from a broken heart should have been 0. Part 7. Darth Sidious / Palpatine was like an abusive boyfriend. Looking at the relationship between Palpatine and Anakin with fresh eyes, I saw something new. I have no idea why I hadn't thought of it before. What did I see? I saw the relationship between Palpatine and Anakin as one between abuser and victim. The abuser slowly starts to manipulate his victim until the victim sees no other way than the way of his abuser. No other thought process but the one held by his abuser. Palpatine used Anakin's love for Padme as a weapon, saying he was the only one that could save her. When Padme pointed out she could just stay on Coruscant to be safe, Anakin doesn't believe it will work, nor does he find help when going to Yoda. Another mark off for the little green dude not treating Anakin's worry as more of a threat. So with no one else to turn to, he stays by Palpatine's side in the hope that Padme will remain safe. Yet just as Palpatine uses Anakin's love for Padme, he also starts to destroy that bond. In his fictional Jedi are trying to take over everything story, he says she is working with the Jedi. He uses as proof the fact Obi-Wan visited her early in the morning, as well as her being one of the senators that signed a petition for Palpatine to step back as Supreme Chancellor. In the beginning of the novel, Palpatine tries to make Anakin leave Obi-Wan for dead. He is aware that the Jedi Master is an important way that Anakin stabilizes himself. So he fools the Jedi Council into sending Obi-Wan to face off against Grievous. Though how I know exactly which Jedi would be sent is, well, seems very much like either Palpatine's powers are just that good or someone pulled a plot point out of their ass. Finally, Palpatine had to distance Anakin from the entire Jedi Order. He couldn't allow the chance the boy would believe in those teachings. If that was the case, then there would be enough uncertainty to put the entire Sith's plan at jeopardy. It is a clear sign of abuse that the abuser will distance the victim from their friends, that the abuser will make the victim feel as if there is no one else to turn to. That was treated as romantic in Twilight and terrifying in Revenge of the Sith. Part 8. No, I have the high ground line. The I have the high ground line has become iconic for all the wrong reasons. It is seen as more humorous as anything else because it doesn't make sense. Why should having the higher ground mean that Obi-Wan's victory is certain? Anakin could have easily made a move such as aiming to jump close to Obi-Wan instead of over him. He could have jumped higher so that Obi-Wan couldn't reach him that easily, etc., etc., etc. Well, the I have the high ground line isn't said in the novelization. The fight ends the same way. Anakin jumps and Obi-Wan cuts him up. However, with the removal of the line, it seems like a more heated moment of the battle. Obi-Wan made a move in the hopes he will come out of the fight alive. Anakin makes a move and ends up making a fatal mistake. Without I have the high ground, the end moves of the fight seem like more of a chance and less of a given. It's an example of how a simple line can change the entire tone of a scene. Seriously, you should maybe try watching or reading something and think, what if this line wasn't said, and does it make the scene better or worse? Part 9. Obi-Wan and Anakin appeared gay for each other. I admit that my shipper brain has evolved since I was younger. Okay, maybe devolved would be a better word choice. In any case, I saw some brotherly love between Obi-Wan and Anakin. The biggest showcase of this was near the very end of the book. When Anakin thought Padme had sided with Obi-Wan, he had no qualms to use force against her. However, when it came to Obi-Wan, he said at least once to Obi-Wan that he didn't want to kill him. He also appeared a little more hesitant to kill Obi-Wan than his own fucking wife. On Obi-Wan's side, he begged Yoda. Sorry, I think I didn't pause enough for that. On Obi-Wan's side, he begged Yoda to let him face Sidious so that he wouldn't have Anakin's blood on his hands, that he wouldn't have to kill his dearest friend. It could be that they were just that good of friends, or my crazy shipper brain is right to pick up on homosexual undertones. Part 10. Qui-Gon Jinn appears to Yoda. Qui-Gon Jinn was one of my favorite characters in The Phantom Menace, and the gateway to my Liam Neeson obsession. Something I tried to hide behind a facade of Ewan McGregor obsession back in the day. In this novel, he is back to make a cameo appearance. Yoda mentioned sensing the Force as Qui-Gon for quite some time. but he never thought he was actually talking to Qui-Gon. Near the very end of the book, Qui-Gon speaks to Yoda about obtaining true immortality, which is much different than what Sidious had promised Anakin. True immortality, your physical body dies, yet you still exist as a sort of extension of the Force. You become much more powerful than any living creature. Yoda and Obi-Wan will be taught by Qui-Gon about how to achieve such a feat. This explains why Yoda and Obi-Wan appear as Force ghosts later in the series. And since this is a feat that must be learned, it explains why not every Jedi becomes a Force ghost. It leaves one big question in the air, though. How did Qui-Gon learn this feat, or was he able to do so innately? And that is the end of my Revenge of the Sith review. So if you have any comments, like something I didn't mention in the review, or you want a point clarified, just comment down below. And remember, if you do want to read the novelization of Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith by Matthew Stover, if you're on the YouTubes, link in the description. And if you're on my blog, link down below, and you follow those links, and you can get your very own copy of Revenge of the Sith. And if you're watching on the YouTubes, please like this video. Subscribe to my YouTube channel so you will never, ever miss a review ever again. And if you're watching on my blog and watching on the desktop version of my blog, please choose the follow by email option. And once you do, hey, you will never miss a blog post from me again. You won't just be getting these lovely videos, you'll also get actual, written blog posts. I'm working very slowly on a Game of Thrones one, so that should be out hopefully this year or the beginning of next. Oh. So yeah, and of course I have not forgotten to announce the next book I will be doing a review of, and it will be another Star Wars book, and it's going to be Star Wars Shatterpoint, a Clone Wars novel, and it's written by Matthew Stover again. And I'm not sure if it's still canon or if it's the legacy or whatever. So once I do my my review of Shatterpoint, I will clarify if it's still canon or not. And so there's another reason to subscribe, so you can hear my review of Shatterpoint. I'm still holding the damn book up to webcam that isn't actually there. Oh, fucking hilarious. Yeah. And until next video, goodbye.